Hi everyone, this is Miss Leverenz, and today I'm going to be making scallion pancakes with you. So scallion pancakes is a recipe that my grandma used to make for me all the time when I was younger. It's really simple. It only requires a couple ingredients. You can keep it in the fridge, you can freeze it so you can keep it for a long time, and it's really easy to make. We'll just need some time for the dough to set, but after that, everything else is really smooth and easy. So I'm going to walk you through the steps of making these scallion pancakes, but my kitchen is really tiny, so bear with me. So the first thing you're going to need to do for the flour is you're going to need to take 2 cups of flour, which I've already placed in here, and you're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Then after that, you're going to mix those 2 ingredients together first, and then after that, you are going to add 3/4 cup of really hot water. So make sure your water comes to a boiling point before you even add the water, and this is just going to make sure that the dough is really soft and smooth after we let it set for a while. So once you're ready with your dry ingredients, you've mixed those together, you're going to pour in the hot water slowly. You can pour it into the middle. Okay, so once you're done with that, you are going to place it in the container along with your flour, and you're gonna start mixing. So you're gonna start mixing it all together, making sure that all your ingredients are combined before you transfer it on to your kneading surface. Okay, so our next step after you've combined the hot water with the flour and the salt is you're going to place it on a surface that has a little bit of flour on it. Don't overdo the flour because your dough is really going to dry up at that point. So you're going to put it onto your surface, and you're going to knead by folding everything in half a couple times, and you're going to knead for around 2 minutes. So we're just going to again just fold everything in half, fold it over itself, and make sure to do this step with your hand. You're pressing firmly into the dough, making sure the water is combining with the flour and the salt. And I will show you my final product after I'm done. So again, you're kneading for 2 to 3 minutes, making sure everything is combined.
That's a scene.
Okay, so I've been kneading my dough, pressing it over itself in half for around 2 to 3 minutes. So at this point, I'm going to place my dough back into its container that I mixed everything in before, and I'm just going to cover it with some saran wrap, and I'm going to let it sit for 2 hours. So make sure that you're letting the dough sit in a warm area for 2 hours. Just completely leave it there, forget about it, and we're going to check in on it in 2 hours. Okay. So while the dough is resting, so again, you should let it rest for around 2 hours, you're going to take your scallions, which is the crucial ingredient of this recipe. Scallions are an essential in any Asian recipe, so I always have them on hand. They go into so many different Chinese recipes, and they are really easy to use and add delicious flavor into the recipe. So we're going to take our scallions. We're going to take around 4 heads of scallions. It's kind of up to your preference. I personally really enjoy the taste of scallions, so I'm going to use 4 really big heads, but you can use whatever you have on hand, and we're going to chop them up finely so that they look like this, and then that is going to be one part of our filling. The other part of our filling is going to be vegetable oil. So I am using sesame oil because it gives kind of an Asian flavor to things, but you can use canola oil, you can use any vegetable oil you have on hand. Just use what you have available and it will still taste delicious. So you're going to take 1/4 cup of the oil, you're going to cut up 3 to 4 heads of the scallions depending on how strong you want the flavor to be. And that is all for the filling. So that's all you need. You should also add a little bit of salt into the whatever kind of oil that you're going to use. I usually add around 2 teaspoons of salt, and you're going to mix it in really well. and those are the only 3 ingredients that you need for the filling. So like I said, this recipe is so easy because it requires minimal ingredients, and these ingredients you can find in any grocery store. Also, pro tip for scallions is that you can actually grow them yourself. So after you are done cutting up your scallions, you are going to take a glass or anything that you have on hand. You're going to fill it with water if you want, and you are just going to put your scallion roots into the water. So just make sure it's covering kind of the root area of scallions. This one for me is already starting to grow. These are my new scallions, and just put them on a ledge or somewhere where they receive light. And in a couple of days, you're gonna notice that your scallions are already starting to grow. If you are interested in keeping them alive for longer, you can also plant them into dirt, and they will grow at a much faster pace. Okay, so after I've let my dough sit, I'm going to take my original portion of dough and I'm going to cut it into 4 sections. So I have my 3 other sections here, and then I've rolled my 4th section out into kind of a rectangle shape. So after you roll it out, you want to make sure that it's super thin, because we're going to roll it up, and that is going to give us kind of the flaky texture that we're looking for our scallion pancake. So I have my dough all rolled out in that 1/4 section. It's super thin, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hands, reach it, or you can also take a dough brush, and you're going to reach it into the oil that you're using, and you're just going to spread it all over this surface. Make sure that it's coated on all sides, on the edges, because that's what's going to help everything stick together. And then you're going to take your scallion bits. Again, this is kind of up to your taste, so if you like scallions, you should add some more. If you're not looking for as strong of a taste, you don't have to, but you're just basically going to cover the surface of your pancake with these scallions. Again, I like the taste, so I'm going to add a couple more. And now we're going to, starting from the top, we're going to roll everything like this. Make sure that you're rolling it really tight, because it's going to help create the layers that you're looking for in the pancake. So roll everything super tight. Take the bottom part, coil it to the top, and then kind of like a snake, you're going to coil everything together like this until you form the shape of kind of like a cinnamon roll. And this is going to be your pancake. So you're going to turn it upside down, and you're going to press everything down. So you don't have to do it as thin as before. How thin you want your pancake to be is really up to your preference. So I like having my pancake be a little thicker, because I like having a really chewy inside, but some people prefer their pancake to be really thin and crispy. Okay, so we are on the last step of cooking our scallion pancakes. So I'm just heating up a pan of oil, and then I'm just gonna put my pancake right in there. It's gonna start bubbling up really nicely. While our pancake is cooking, I'm just going to tell you some quick facts about the scallion pancake. So a lot of restaurants in Asia actually claim that the scallion pancake was where pizza originated. And they claim that Marco Polo, when he arrived in China, discovered the scallion pancake and brought back the recipe with him. We improvised using some Italian ingredients to make what we call pizza today. So we don't really know if the story is true or not, but it is what a lot of restaurants in Asia, and this is actually what my grandma says is a true story. So scallion pancake is a Chinese recipe, and the way you say in Chinese or in Mandarin is tong you bing. So tong is scallion, yo is oil, and bing is bread. So scallion oil bread. So I've let my pancake simmer for around a minute, and I'm going to get ready to flip it. So I'm flipping it now, and you can see how beautiful all those layers are. You can see that it's browning a little bit, and it's nice and crispy. So we're gonna let it sit for around another minute here. We might flip it back over just to make sure everything is really crispy, and then we are done. So this is what the finished product should look like. I'm gonna just cut it up into slices, and then I'm gonna dip it in my sauce, which is composed of soy sauce, chili, and some vegetable oil, or in my case sesame oil, and it's really, really delicious. So again, it's a really, really simple recipe. It is a recipe that Chinese people eat a lot, and you can find the ingredients in any of your local stores. So if you end up making it, let me know and tell me how it is.